What is the best engine size for an adventure motorcycle? 300, 700 or 1000 cc? Single, two or more cylinders? These are the questions that I'm going to answer in this video. So if you have nothing to do, grab your favorite drink and stay with me. Welcome back, guys. These are actually the questions that I have been asked a number of times, and it doesn't matter how much I would like to give you a straight answer, unfortunately it is not possible. Can you describe the best type of woman? Is it slim, curvy, fat, blonde, brunette, ginger? It is more or less the same with motorcycles. People have their preferences and their expectations from the machines that they would like to use on their trips. It is basically impossible everyone to like exactly the same things. That's why we have so many different brands and models on the market. And do you know what? This is absolutely normal and understandable. With all of this being said, let's now see what the possible engine options are and what I think about them. In my opinion, there are no right or wrong choices because everyone is different. I know that this will be very hard to understand for many, but the motorcycle is just a tool. Maybe it's the best that you have ever had, but it is still a tool. Even if you have a name on your motorcycle, it will still be tool, an expensive tool with a name, but nothing else. And there is no person in the world that can convince me in the opposite. Like these drills, guys. Should I name them all? I'm really sorry about this sarcasm, but I just cannot resist, and I laugh every time when I see someone doing this, to name a motorcycle. These are still tools, and each one of these tools has some pros and cons. For example, this one is better if I need to drill concrete. This is fine for wood or metal. And this is just a battery-powered screwdriver. Yeah, I can switch it and convert it into a drill, but this is not a reason to have a name on it, because it is just a tool. Different tools for different purposes. And it is exactly the same with motorcycles. It doesn't matter in what you believe. Once you understand how, with whom and where exactly you plan to travel, should become crystal clear what kind of motorcycle do you need. I know that I can finish the video right now, but many won't understand what exactly I mean. That's why I will provide a bit longer explanation. Question number one: single, two or more cylinders? What is the best option for traveling? As I told you earlier, different tools for different purposes. Single cylinder will be perfect if you're not a heavy guy, if you travel alone, if you don't have much luggage, if you plan to have many off-road miles on your trips, and you don't want to ride fast. The benefits or the pros over two or more cylinders will be that the engine is gonna be lighter, simpler, probably with affordable, easy to do maintenance, and also cheaper to buy. As I said, it will be probably the best option if you plan to have many miles away from asphalt roads, where sometimes you'll be forced to push it, lift it more often, especially if you don't have enough riding skills. These type of motorcycles are also perfect option for beginners or people who prefer to travel on a budget. Because of their simplicity, lightweight and easy maintenance, and also overall lower price, you'll be still able to travel and complete their goals without breaking a bank. In this category you'll find many different sizes: 150, 250, 300, 450, 600, but once you understand the main idea of traveling, it shouldn't be a problem to find the right model for you. The power will be also different, anything from 12 to over 70 horsepower. So you have to find the right model for you, as I already said. So for example, if you are 100 kilograms like me, will be very hard, not impossible, but very hard for you to travel with a motorcycle that is 150 cc, something like 12 or maximum 15 horsepower. Not impossible, but hard. Single cylinders tends to have more power in the lower range, and this makes them a preferred choice for off-road riders, but they will also have more noticeable vibrations once you start riding on the open highways. That's why you have to find the right compromise for you. Two cylinders, on the other hand, will give you more power, smoother engines. You're not gonna have these agricultural sounds like most of the dumpers have. You'll have the possibility to carry more luggage and eventually a passenger. If you have the necessary skills It won't be a problem to ride them off-road regardless of how heavy they are. Other factors like a proper suspension, 21-inch front wheel and a strong frame will help, but of course the lighter you are, the better and the easier it's going to be for you. The power and the engine sizes will also vary from 600 to 1300 cc, anything from 50 to 170 horsepower. Do you really need all of this while you travel? Well, not really. I'm perfectly fine with 72 or 3 horsepower, whatever this Tenere 700 has, but I travel alone, I don't have much luggage and I don't ride fast. For you might be completely different story. Some people love their power and they will never buy anything with less than 130-40 horsepower. The price of owning and traveling with 2 or more cylinders will change compared to a single cylinder motorcycle, even though many will deny it. The biggest argument that they will have is that the petrol consumption will be about the same. I will agree that the petrol consumption will be about the same if you ride it with 90 or maybe 100 kilometers per hour, but how many of you will keep this speed limit, especially when you have nice open roads or highways? Not many. Also, it is not only the petrol consumption. The maintenance cost will be different as well. Bigger and expensive tires, more oils, more brake pads because you're gonna have 2 brake rotors. You're gonna have expensive maintenance because many of these 2 or more cylinders motorcycles are too complicated to do anything by yourself. So you need to go to a specific dealer or mechanic, and all of this will raise the overall price of your journey. In the end, I will estimate that you're gonna spend about 30% more on each one of your trips. If money is not a problem, fine, but it is still good to know it. To put all of this in perspective, I'm gonna tell you that if you're riding a single cylinder motorcycle, you will have 4 instead of 3 long motorcycle trips for about the same money. I know that for some people it's not a problem, that's why you have to find out what are your priorities and work on them. With the motorcycles that got 3, 4 or more cylinders, you have to multiply everything by 2 because the whole idea of these models is completely different. They're not bad at all, but as I said already twice, different tools for different purposes. Hold on, Pavle, what about if money is not a problem? Well, it's a little bit different, but the end result will be about the same. Let me explain to you what exactly I mean. If you, let's say, pay for an expensive organized trip, you might have this wonderful experience because someone will organize it for you. But on the other hand, if you travel alone without company, without guides and without anything like this, the trip will depend on you and your organization. So you can have a wonderful trip with a minimum budget and garbage motorcycle, and in the same time you can have a terrible trip with the most expensive motorcycle that you can find on the market today. Nothing is guaranteed because the joy or the nice part of the trip will depend on many different circumstances. For example, what kind of people you are going to meet, what weather you're going to have, what is the area, what scenes, so many different things. The experiences that you can have are something that you cannot predict. That's why it's so interesting. That's why these trips are so addictive, because you jump into the unknown and you don't know the end result. So my advice will be always the same. Focus on the trip, not really on the bike. As a conclusion, the only thing that I can say right now is find the model that covers all of your needs and just go to ride. Never forget that it is just a tool that will help you to complete your goals. Press like or dislike whatever this video deserves. If you subscribe, even better. See you in the next one. Ciao.